I'm your number one fan.
We all go a little mad sometimes.
Whatever you do, don't fall asleep.
What an excellent day for an exorcism.
My mom and dad
I see dead people. Hello.
Hi.
Happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday. It's us.
It is us.
The Killer Cuties podcast.
Yeah, I'm Cassidy.
Yep. No, I'm
And she's a bitch.
We knew that.
So rude.
I'm
Leave me
Katie.
hanging like that. Yeah. Okay, we gotta spice up the intro somehow, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm getting sick of us saying Happy Tuesday every goddamn week.
Oh, God. We started it as Happy Booze Day. We don't even say that. Because it's scary. Boo. Not booze.
Yeah.
Boo.
I think because it sounds like Booze Day, where we're just getting absolutely sloshed on a Tuesday.
That was also the concept.
It was.
We were going to
Originally,
drink.
we were like, oh, let's get drunk and talk about horror movies. And then we were like, we don't want to get drunk once a week with each other and talk about horror movies. So
it was a lot.
Yeah. You can still go back and look at old episodes, though, where I've got my mug of wine every time.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Well, anyway.
We've come a long way since then.
Yeah. Well, let's do some news, and then we're here to talk about Lake Mungo.
We are. Let's do it.
The movie.
Yeah.
I'll start.
Great.
Freddie Prinze Jr. has joined the I Know What You Did Last Summer sequel.
He has.
Deadline reported it first. There were several months of negotiations to get him on board, and he's finally officially joined. The movie is set to release July 18th of next year, so not that far away for them to still be signing on talent. And especially since Jennifer Love Hewitt is also supposedly still in negotiations to be in the movie.
Yeah.
Hurry up.
They're, that's the most important thing. They just got to get them to do the scenes and then bing, bang, bop, really push it out fast.
Yeah. What's her face is not going to be in it?
Sarah Michelle Gellar?
Yep.
Well, yeah, she died, so.
Yeah. But I mean, they could have done like a CGI flashback or something. I don't know.
I would have hated that.
Yeah, it would have been terrible. It would have been fan service only.
Yeah. I actually just got done reading the I Know What You Did Last Summer book.
How was it?
It was decent. It was like a fun little thriller.
Cute.
Yeah. I think it was like the twist was like kind of obvious. It's not similar to the movie at all.
Okay,
like
I was going to say.
Yeah, no. Like they do kill someone with their car, but like it's not a slasher. It's not the same person. It's not like the backstory is not the same at all. So.
Got it.
No one dies except for the person they hit with their car. Yeah.
Well, and they actually die.
They do. They do actually die.
Got it.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's a fun little thriller. It was a quick read too, but.
Okay. Good to know.
Yeah.
Pick up a copy at your nearest Amazon.
Do it. Right now. No, go to the library. Don't go to Amazon. Jesus.
Or your local bookstore. Your local bookstore.
Local bookstore or support your local libraries. Libraries are important. Yes. What if that was just my news? I read a book. No.
It's news.
I'm kidding. My first piece of news is the September movie, Never Let Go, is now available at home on demand. And in celebration of the release, Lionsgate has provided us with an exclusive deleted scene from the film. So you can check that out. We'll link it in the description. Yeah, as a reminder, the film is about a family that's been haunted by an evil spirit for years, and their safety and surroundings come into question when one of the children questions if the evil is real. And in the deleted scene, Academy Award-winning actress Halle Berry comes face-to-face with a nightmarish snake-headed tree monster. So, Sounds pretty cool. I didn't watch it yet, but I got the link, so I'm gonna watch it because I did see the movie.
Okay.
So there you go. New deleted scene.
Interesting. Somebody just posted a deleted scene of Kevin Bacon at the Psycho House. I don't know what movie that would be for.
Maxine.
Oh.
I do. I know what movie it is.
Well, there you go.
Mm-hmm.
Threw that one in for free.
Yeah, look at that little extra piece.
More casting news. Matthew Lillard
Sex.
confirmed his return to FNAF 2. We knew it was going to happen.
Yeah, didn't he they already leak that he was signed on for 3 movies or something?
I think so. Yeah, I think I knew it. But officially, it has been released. And almost as interesting, actually more interesting because we already knew that. Jim Henson's Creature Shop is also coming back.
Love that. They did a great job.
Yeah, they always do.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Highly recommend their museum in Atlanta.
I will go.
I went to Atlanta just for that.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It was great. Worth it.
I believe you.
I know.
I don't think I'm super excited for the next FNAF movie. It wasn't my favorite film, but I do love Matthew Lillard, so I will be tuning in.
And Josh Hutcherson.
Yeah, is he coming back? Sure. I do like Josh.
I forgot if he died or not.
He didn't. He did not die. No, no one died, really.
You're right.
Yeah. So I'm assuming he'll come back. It wasn't the best movie ever. Let's be honest here.
Well, it's about a Chuck E. Cheese, so.
Yeah, but that could be interesting. Or fun.
It wasn't bad. It wasn't bad.
Good.
Oh. You're being too hard on it.
We gave it 2.5, Katie. That's 50%. That's
We
fine.
did an episode on that movie?
Katie.
Oh my god.
We did.
That's fucking crazy. I don't remember that at all.
We absolutely did an episode on that.
Well, you know what's funny is while I was thinking about this, I was like, I remembered watching the movie and I bought it the day that it came out. I was home alone for some reason. I was on the couch watching it. And it felt to me like I was just watching it just for fun to watch it. I didn't realize I watched it for the cast.
You did. Five Nights at Freddy's, episode 45.
Okay,
you can go listen to our thoughts now.
45 episodes ago.
Yeah.
Crazy. Yeah, remind me what I said. Whoever goes back and listens to that.
Yeah. I know we both agreed that it was for the fans. It wasn't really for us.
Yeah. But it wasn't bad. It
wasn't good.
It was fun.
Anyways.
What's your next news?
My next news is Variety has released their list of top 100 horror movies.
Oh.
And it's been a bit controversial.
Oh, God.
Which I always think is very fun.
Yeah.
But they included both Human Centipede 2 and Hostel 2, which are choices. Especially considering that they left out Saw, Martyrs, The Others, Fright Night, Hellraiser, The Mist, Invasion of the Body Snatchers. They left out those movies in favor of Human Centipede 2. I need everybody to just take that in, think about it for a second, and then go comment on their post about how stupid that is.
What was interesting about Human Centipede 1 was that it was a human centipede. What could possibly be interesting about Human Centipede 2?
I'm pretty sure it's rage bait. Because Human Centipede 2 is disgusting. It's worse than the first. The first one's not even, they don't show anything really. It's all just kind of implied what's happening. Okay. The sequel is it shows everything. It's way worse.
Ew.
And everybody agrees it's the most disgusting one out of the three. And it's not, more than that, it's not even a good movie.
This is Variety's top 100 horror movies of all time.
Yes, and they included that in the top 100, but they didn't include Invasion of the Body Snatchers. featuring
Disney
Donald Sutherland.
Oh, I do love Donald Sutherland. Man,
It's
we're
a great
talking
film.
about. I literally have been rewatching the Hunger Games movies to fall asleep, and we're talking about all the Hunger
Oh.
Games people.
Yeah.
To hit me with the top 10.
I only have the top 5 written down.
Okay, please.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Number 5 is Rosemary's Baby.
Okay.
Number 4, Jaws.
Okay.
Number 3, Psycho.
These are making sense.
These are, yeah. A lot of the movies on it make sense. A lot of people were concerned about like those 2 editions and then missing some of the movies.
Okay.
And then also the order in which they were put on.
Okay.
But anyways, number 2 is The Exorcist, which I knew it was going to be controversial when I'd already seen Psycho and The Exorcist at 3 and 2, because both of those are typically put at number 1. Number 1 is The Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Okay,
Which
that's
I
just
also
fan
think-
service because it's the 50th anniversary.
It's kind of, yeah, it's a controversial pick. I don't know who wrote the list because I didn't look it up. Sorry.
Topu.
Well, he's dead, so that would be pretty cool. But yeah, it's an interesting list. You can
See,
go
the top
look. You
5
can go
makes
look at all of
sense.
them. The top 5, sure. I think personally TCM at number 1 is kind of crazy to me, but it should be on the list for sure.
Yeah.
Number 1, for some people, sure. I don't know. I think at this point, Exorcist is kind of a safe pick for number 1.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't really disagree with that. But yeah, top 5, not that crazy. The rest of it, maybe.
See, my marketing brain is like, oh, they put TCM at number 1 because it's trending right now. It's very trendy to be into TCM. And
Oh, is it?
yeah, because it's the 50th anniversary. Everybody's talking about it.
Oh, okay.
So putting it at the top of the list, people are going to be like, oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. That's
Literally,
fair.
I think it's today.
Is it really? No, release date, October 1st, 1974.
No.
Oh, that was the Austin, Texas premiere.
Yeah, the Texas
then
Chainsaw
wide
Massacre was
release was-
released October 11th, 1974.
Wow, we're
Today?
filming this on October 11th.
Yeah, we are.
Happy 50th anniversary, TCM.
Yeah. Number 1 in our hearts. No. That's not true. Up there, but no.
Yeah, I like it. Number 1,
Nah.
not for me. Personally.
It's good.
But you know what? If I released my list of top 100 horror movies, it would also be very controversial and people would not be happy. So, who am I to judge you, Variety?
Yeah.
No one.
And I almost have 100 movies to rank.
That's so true. Oh my god.
Give me a few weeks and then I'll have 100.
You'll have 100. You can rank them.
Well, anyway. One more news from me,
Okay.
and then we'll talk about Lake Mungo. Fortnite. You know.
I thought that was it.
But yeah, that's the news.
The news. Fortnite.
The game was supposed to launch their annual Fortnitemares event today, October 11th, the 50th anniversary of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Mm-hmm.
But it's been delayed several hours until tomorrow
Okay.
because devs say that they're putting finishing touches on the product, which is
Oh.
fucking crazy to be putting finishing touches on something that's supposed to release like right now.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, this year's crossovers are super fun. It's Billy,
Love.
Saw, yeah,
Okay.
and Leatherface,
Of course.
of course. They're both skins, and supposedly you can ride around on Billy's tricycle as an emote.
Oh.
Yeah, you get to like be him. This is all still sort of rumored, sort of confirmed. We won't actually know until it launches later today. But also, supposedly, we'll get some Disney villains and Edward Scissorhands.
Very fun.
So cute.
So cute.
So if you're a Fortnite fan and a horror fan, there you go.
Cool. Fortnite.
It's like the one game you haven't played.
There are other games I haven't played.
Well, the big
But yes, I have not played I have not played Fortnite.
It's fun.
I'm not very good at shooters.
Oh, it's not just a shooter.
Oh.
They have prop hunt, but
Oh, I do like
SpongeBob.
that. SpongeBob? Why? What?
I don't know. It's super cute though. You get to go into like SpongeBob's house and Squidward's house, and you get to be like a Krabby Patty, or
Oh, that sounds like fun.
it's super cute. Yeah, not a lot of people play it though, so it's hard to get people to.
Oh,
It's hard to get a lobby, but
yeah.
and they have like, guess who? You know the board game?
I've heard of it.
Yeah, they have that.
Wow.
Zombies. They have all sorts of stuff. Cars. You're a big fan of
Ka-chow.
Cars. Yeah.
I've heard of it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember really anything from the film Cars except for Ka-chow, and I think that's really funny.
A shame.
Sorry.
That's okay. Anyway. Fortnite. It's for everyone.
Love that. Go play Fortnite now. I don't know. Fortnite collab coming soon.
Coming soon.
Oh, goodness. All right. Are you ready to talk about Lake Mungo?
Yep. Are you?
Yeah, you just didn't seem very excited about it.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
I'm hyped.
great. Sounds like it. Okay, Lake Mungo. If you've never seen it and you don't care to, or you have seen it and it's been a while, here's what it's about. After 16-year-old Alice Palmer drowns in a local dam, her family experiences a series of strange, inexplicable events centered in and around their home. Unsettled, the Palmers seek help of a psychic, a parapsychologist, and a parapsychologist, the two different people, and they discover that Alice led a secret double life. At Lake Mungo, Alice's secret past emerges. That's from Letterboxd. It was written and directed by Joel Anderson. It stars Talia Zucker and David Pledger. It's got a 6.3 out of 10 on IMDb, a 95% critic score, and a 62% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. I will clarify there are only 22 critic ratings at this time, so it is a smaller sample size, so take that 95 with a grain of salt, I suppose. It had a budget of $1.7 million, and it made $29,850 at the box office. It was screened at some festivals, but it only got a wide release in Australia, so that might have contributed to the low box office. But it has since gained quite the cult following.
I would just like to clarify that the psychic and the parapsychologist are in fact the same person.
Yeah. Are they?
Yes.
Great. Same guy. That does make sense because I only remember them talking with one guy.
Yes.
That was confusing wording, Letterboxd. I should have read that better.
Yeah.
Might be.
Parapsychologist would be a fun career.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, you talked about the budget and the earnings. A little bit of mixed. What am I trying to say?
I don't know.
Helpful. So helpful.
I mean, what do you want from me?
A little bit. Hold on. Let me think.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't write this down. I'm going in blind.
Oh my God, she's flying by the seat of her pants.
Conflicting information. A little bit of conflicting information.
Oh, okay.
Because sometimes it's in Australian dollars, sometimes it's in US dollars, sometimes it's as high as like 30,000. I even saw it as low as just under $9,000.
Yeah.
But one thing I did see quite often, I was reading a bunch of folks' reviews.
Yeah.
Is they mentioned how impressive it was that the film was able to do so much with so little.
Mm-hmm.
Which $1 million is not so little to me.
I mean, I think for a movie that is considered low budget.
But like, we've talked about films that were wildly more successful with a teeny tiny budget, like Paranormal Activity, Blair Witch, Cube, Creep, Evil Dead. Halloween had a $350,000 budget and is the most successful horror franchise of all time.
Yeah, but that was also 300 some $1,000 in the 70s.
I bet that's still less than $1 million now.
Probably.
But 1 million
It's
is
still not
310.
not that much.
That's like 20 times some of those budgets.
I'm sorry that the budget wasn't low enough for you.
It's not that the budget wasn't low enough. It's that they're praising them for doing so much with so little. But
Yeah.
like that's just it didn't stick out to me as a movie that really represented that to me.
Okay. I
That
guess
was
that's
all.
fair.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That was all.
Okay.
We can wrap it up now.
Episode over. Sorry, guys. She hated it. We gotta end here. Two directors that we've talked about before have spoken on this film. One, Jordan Peele. He stated in a podcast with Keke Palmer that Lake Mungo is one of the movies that scared him the most. Jordan Peele approved.
Mm-hmm.
Also, Mike Flanagan of the Flaniverse.
Flanny.
Yeah, he said about it, "This is one of the best and most beautiful ghost stories I've ever seen, and a true inspiration on every level. I can absolutely feel the influence of this movie on a lot of my own work." Calm down. And I think that's fair, because in one of the scenes at the very end, when Ray, the psychic, is speaking to the mom, and then in the flashbacks also speaking to Alice, and it's like cutting back and forth, and Alice is talking about how her mom can't see her, and her mom is picturing going into Alice's room and saying she's not there anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, before I even saw that Mike Flanagan had said that, I was thinking, oh, this actually really reminds me of Hill House, when Nell is at the funeral home and no one can see her.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, oh my god, you sneaky little devil, this did influence your work a little bit.
Yeah.
I can see it.
Well, the director of this film said that he was inspired by Twin Peaks,
Mm-hmm.
which I haven't seen, so it doesn't mean anything to me. But maybe you can add some color.
I have never seen Twin Peaks either.
Damn it!
Yeah, sorry.
All I know is that people dream about how they're gonna die.
That sounds right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. That's always been on my list, because I'm sure it's a show that I would like. I think
Well,
they
there's a
made a
movie,
movie too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just haven't got around to it. It's kind of like the X-Files. Like, I know I'm gonna like it, I just haven't taken the time to watch it yet.
X-Files is very good.
I've tried to start the first episode like 3 different times, and I can't get past the way David Duchovny says Oregon. And so I just like I can't. I always just keep pausing, like, oh, Oregon, what do you mean Oregon?
Yeah, why does he say it like
Why
that?
does he say it like that?
I don't know.
I don't either.
It's clickbait
but
and it works.
I don't think it's clickbait, because that was made in the 90s, right?
I don't know.
They didn't have clickbait back then.
Well, rage bait.
I
It's
don't
just
think
bait.
that that's what it is. I think David Duchovny just thinks it's pronounced that way.
Oh, David.
Yeah. Maybe it is. Maybe I've been saying Oregon wrong my whole life. People from Oregon, please let us know how to say it.
I was just in Oregon.
Yeah? Did they say
Well,
it like that?
No, I was.
Did
in
they say
Washington, but
welcome
it's
to
the same
Oregon?
concept.
Oh, so you weren't. You're a liar.
Yeah, I was in Washington. It's the same. They're identical.
They're not the same. They're 2 different states. How dare you?
Even they don't know what's the difference between. They all live in one and work in the other. So they're basically the same place.
No, you're going to get crucified by Oregonites who are
I hope I do.
furious that you called them Washingtonians.
Washingtonians. Oh, that's a stupid
Yeah.
word.
Okay, well,
Oregonites.
Oregonites. Please say it correctly.
Oregon.
Anyways, I promise
Anyway.
I will watch both of those shows eventually.
Oh, I'm sure you will.
I will. Yeah.
Twin Peaks, in my neck of the woods, is a restaurant.
Oh, really?
Uh-huh.
Interesting.
You get it?
Are you referring to breasts?
Yes. I'm not. The restaurant is.
You're saying there's like a Hooter-esque restaurant called Twin Peaks.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yep.
Did you go? Did they have good wings? I've heard that about Hooters.
I've never been. I used to go to Hooters all the time. I've never been to a
Did
Twin
you?
Peaks though. Oh yeah, I was like a regular at the Hooters across the street from the Honda Center in Anaheim.
Oh, I've only been to one Hooters in my whole life.
Why?
It was in Vegas.
Yeah.
Because I was with friends and they were like, let's go to Hooters. I think it was like the restaurant that was in the hotel we were staying at. So we were
Oh,
like,
yeah.
oh, it's like close.
They've got good food.
I tried to be so nice to the waitress. I tipped her extra. I'm like, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
They said, what did I say? I think I saw like a tweet the other day that was like, Hooters really said, what if sexual harassment was a restaurant?
No, seriously.
And that's like the concept of it.
Yeah. We have an Irish themed one too. It's called Tilted Kilt.
That's Hooters-esque?
Yeah, it's a restaurant.
A restaurant, yeah. Great. Arizona's got it going on.
Yeah.
I love that you know about all the restaurants where you live.
Well, it's important when you have a child to know which restaurants are, because you don't know
Yeah.
that just looking at them.
Yeah,
Twin Peaks could just be a bar.
that's
Tilted
true.
Kilt could just have
Irish food.
Irish beer and stuff. But
Yeah.
yeah. Anyway, Lake Mungo's a real place.
Right back on track. Yes,
Did
it is.
Did you know that? It's in New South Wales, Australia. And they actually shot there. It is not a lake like the traditional, like it's not where Alice drowned. It's a dry
Right.
lake.
Well, it's a dry lake in the film, too. She drowns at the dam.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So.
A little bit strange to have her drown at the place that they don't name the movie after, but okay, whatever.
Well, because I think Lake Mungo is where they discover, like, what happened. You know what I mean?
That's where the trip was.
Yeah, it's where her phone was buried. It's where they see that she saw her dead self.
Well, anyway, more about Lake Mungo, the real place.
Okay.
In the 60s, they made a pretty significant archaeological discovery. They found a 40,000-year-old woman, like her bones. And she's one of the earliest anatomically modern human remains. So I think that would make her technically a Homo sapien.
Okay.
So one of the oldest Homo sapien skeletons ever discovered. And then 5 years later, they found her husband. I'm assuming that's necessary.
Oh.
They found a man in the same spot.
And you just decided they were married?
I like to think that they were married.
Oh, okay.
They lived long, happy lives, and they died together in each other's arms in Lake Mungo, the dry
Well, if they
lake.
died in each other's arms, I think they would have found them at the same time, don't you think?
Maybe. Probably. They were in a lake. Probably washed them apart.
Yeah.
And now it's dry.
Great. The married Mungos.
Mungo Lady and Mungo Man.
Mungo yeah.
That's what they're called.
Okay, great. Mungo Man.
I really like that word.
I know you do.
That's why I picked this movie.
Yeah.
From a lineup of 3.
Yeah. Mungo. I can't even remember what the options were.
Me neither. There's nothing with a significant amount of consonants either. That's my other go-to.
Yeah, she liked Mungo. So
Yep.
she got it. There's a letterbox list by a user named Minime214 that's called Lake Mungo in its own list as to not scare the other films away. And it's just Lake Mungo in the list.
Aww.
And I thought that was really funny.
That's cute. Yeah, people really got scared from this movie.
Yeah, it freaked people out.
Okay.
I think we can foreshadow that it did not scare you.
No.
I think that this probably scared people the same way that like Paranormal Activity scared people, though.
Or Blair Witch.
Yeah,
That's
it's
what I
like
compare to.
it's like that found footage where it's a lot of suspense and you're just like staring at something, waiting for something to happen.
And it barely does.
Yeah. But it's the tension that they're trying to build instead of, all out scares.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's a choice.
it is.
I will say, I think this had the most convincing acting, the most believable
Mm.
acting in terms of the found footage films that we've seen.
Yeah.
A lot of the time you get kind of taken out of the experience because the acting is so over the top or just like not believable.
Mm-hmm.
But this genuinely felt like a family sitting down with a reporter talking about
Alice.
their dead kid.
Yup.
Yeah, I didn't find myself questioning the talent at all through the film, which was refreshing.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, yeah, Martin Sharp, who played Matthew, the brother, he said that they had time blocks leading up to the film that were just designated for the family cast members to like hang out and get to know each other,
Cute.
so that it felt like they were a family when filming started. Which I kind of think is funny because like a main theme of the movie is that they don't know each other very well.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they did kind of feel like a family that didn't know each other very well. So I think it worked, but I just read that and was like, aren't they not supposed to really know each other though?
Yeah. Well, as far as family goes, meeting each other on a set and spending some time together would not make you like actually feel like a family. It would make you feel like a family that doesn't know each other. So
That's true.
it worked out.
It worked.
I agree.
Nailed it.
Speaking of Matthew,
Mm-hmm.
should we take this time to talk about the fan theory?
Which one?
What do you mean? There's more than one?
Yeah, I know about two, but I'm assuming you're going to talk about the one that involves Matthew.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, go
What
for
gave
it.
you that idea? I like this theory that Matthew killed Alice.
That is a theory.
Yeah, in hindsight, it's a respectable one. A lot of fan theories are like, okay, you're reaching.
Yeah.
But I think that there was some ambiguity left. And anyway, a lot of what I'm taking from is from a comment by Angsty Panky on Reddit.
Great.
But there was also some comments that the users were deleted. But anyway, first kind of indication that something was kind of amiss between them is her reaction to him filming her.
Mm-hmm.
That was a little off. So the theory is kind of like, oh, maybe, he was abusing her in some way, or there was some sort of like voyeurism aspect.
That part of it, I'm going to be honest, like that part did feel like a stretch. That felt like a very
think?
normal, like your sibling comes into your room and you don't like want them to be there.
Yeah.
I'm not
guess.
discounting the theory itself, but like that part I was like, I don't know. To me, watching it, it felt very much just like a get out of my room, stop filming me. Like, what are you doing? You're a weirdo.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
I feel like people were trying to really dig deep with like the abuse stuff, and that was like, oh well, maybe calm down.
I think the more compelling argument with the filming and like his like penchant for cinema or like his passion for cinema or whatever, is that he had found the tape.
Mm-hmm.
And then after watching it, he got this like obsession with her and like had some sort of guilt associated that ultimately led him to kill her.
Got it. The motive aspect. Okay.
Yeah.
That
sort
makes
of ties
sense.
back into his like whole, because if he found a movie that was in her room that he hadn't watched, like he would obviously, like his thing is film,
Right.
so he probably
he's
would have
gonna
popped it
watch
in and watched it. Yeah. What else? There's a lot more to this. I didn't do a very good job organizing my thoughts. Sorry. The whole thing about like the mom not really knowing her kids would make it feasible that she would not know that he was, capable of murdering his own sister. The bruises, the unexplained bruises, they really glossed over that, where they just assumed it was paranormal, or they like kind of associated it with the paranormal activities that were happening. But that very well could have been from like Alice trying to defend herself while Matthew was drowning her.
So that part though, that's not that couldn't have happened because that was months later that happened. So he wouldn't have still had bruises from it.
Oh.
Yeah. That was a flaw in the theory that I found. I was like, the bruises had to be either him inflicting it to go along with his like paranormal thing or possibly paranormal.
Well, yeah, so that could be the other thing is maybe the bruises were she's
Her.
trying to pin it on him.
Yeah.
Damn, that was my favorite part of the theory, though, was that
I'm so
he was
sorry.
drowning her.
Yeah, that one timeline doesn't work out for that because that was much later
Damn.
that it happened.
Well, the only other piece of that particular theory is that it is pretty common for killers to go back and revisit the scene of the crime, and he does go back with her jacket.
See, that part too, though, I felt like that was him trying to create more evidence of like her still being around.
To like quell the mom.
Right. Which is still weird to me. But
Yeah,
more to go along with that, he was alone with Alice at the dam when she drowned. And he was also friends with the psychic that she spoke to. So there are like pieces of it that I think are compelling.
And nobody realized that she was gone until he said, "Where's Alice?"
Yeah.
It's like, whoever smelt it dealt it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely a theory. I don't know if it's my favorite theory.
Which one's your favorite?
Well, I don't know if any theories are necessarily my favorite.
Oh, okay.
I just meant that one in particular. I don't know.
Okay.
I get it.
There's just a lot of little pieces that kind of add up.
Yeah. I definitely can see how that could be a valid theory.
And then he gets what he wants at the end. He gets a family that's more connected, and he's the center of attention. And
yeah, but I also think like his parents were kind of, well, I don't know. Anyways, the other theory was that it's basically like one big allegory for suicide. Which I think does make sense to me, like the cold and distant relationship between Alice and her mom, and the fact that Alice was like so sure that she was going to die, her being confronted with her own corpse at the end. Like I think that there are kind of allegorical things that could have pointed to that. Yeah, I don't know. I think I just think of it more as like a another movie that's kind of exploring grief, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I think more than that, like the fear of grief, like the fear of losing someone unexpectedly.
Yeah. Yeah, this movie's kind of sad.
It is really sad.
I know.
I mean, I didn't like cry or anything, but
No, but like when you think about it, it's like Alice, she wasn't at peace and she chose to stay in the house, and her family never really like knew who she was, and I think them putting her to rest was more for their appeasement rather than hers. And then like in the end, seeing her in the photographs, it's like they've decided and moved on, whereas like she's still there, and it's kind of like, ugh, sad. They never really saw her.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's an important lesson in the paranormal that both sides need to find peace. It's not just about you. It's not just about them.
Yeah, for all you people with ghosts, listen closely.
I'm telling you. This movie's telling you.
This movie is telling you. But yeah, I do like this movie. I like rewatching the movie because then you can see everything that you find out in the end, and then you go back and watch it and you're like, oh yeah, there she is, just in these photos that you're not noticing the first time you watch it. Or like the neighbor, like the first time it shows the footage, you can see the neighbor coming into the house.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that they did that very well, of diverting your attention to other places and having things happen that like the first time I watched this, I did not. My mind was blown. I was like, oh my God. She was there the whole time.
Yeah, that definitely got me.
Yeah.
I like the kind of like ambiguity of the paranormal too. It was not really hammered home what, like it wasn't like, they didn't tell you, oh, she's a ghost and she's like stuck in purgatory kind of thing. Like they didn't really hammer that home. They left it ambiguous. They left it open to interpretation, which I think really served kind of the film.
Yeah. I think the only unambiguous moment is like her seeing herself dead.
Yeah.
In the phone footage. Like that's pretty clearly like, you know, in your face. Like that's like the scare moment, I think, of the whole movie.
Yeah.
The
one.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Everything else is kind of just tension, slow burn, and then that's that one moment of like actual true horror.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I almost think I would have liked the movie better without it. But again, I like a more grounded, less supernaturally type of feel. But I also think that like the reveal of her actually being a ghost in the background of all these photos would have hit a little bit harder if you didn't like know that there was supernatural stuff going on.
Yeah.
Like if it had just been left at the brother was faking it and you just think like, oh my god, it wasn't even that the whole time, and then all of a sudden you just see her in the background, I feel like that would have been even more creepy.
Yeah. That was one of the things that I was planning about talking about later, but just like the going back and forth between, oh, it's real, oh, it's not real, oh, it's real, really gave me whiplash.
Oh. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's okay.
I feel like that only happened like twice.
That's
too many.
Weird that it happened twice. Once.
Oh, okay. Yeah. One reveal that's enough.
Yeah, like don't make us think that it's real first and then make us think it's fake and then make us think it's real again. Like,
yeah,
hit us with it's fake and then we find out it's real. You know what I mean? Or we think it's real and then they hit us with it's fake.
Okay.
It's just like, you know.
See, I feel like that's almost like expected at this point. Where I liked this movie that it was like, it was just him faking it the whole time and then all of a sudden it was not. And I was like, oh, wait, shit.
I mean, I guess because the audience finds that out and not the family.
Well, the family watches the video. So I think they still know that something supernatural is happening. But that's why I would have liked it better without that. If it would have just shown her like seeing something and then it ending or something like that.
Yeah.
I would have liked that better. Where it was like clear to her, but not to the family or to the audience that she had like seen herself.
Like she saw something on her phone, but we don't know what it is.
Right.
Yeah.
Like we see her face seeing herself, but we don't see what she sees.
Yeah, that would have been good.
That's what I'm saying.
That would have been real good.
Because then the twist would have been even better of like, she's there in the background.
Yeah. I tend to agree.
Yeah, the director, Joel Anderson, kind of kept like a really low profile after the movie came out. He didn't do anything really for forever. He didn't give interviews. I don't think he's done one since 2009, which was a year after this movie came out. He has no known social media pages. And that's kind of like added to the mystery of the movie a little bit, I think. And yeah, he eventually returned though. In 2023, he was an executive producer and script editor on Late Night with the Devil.
I didn't know
That's
if we were
the
allowed
first
to talk
thing
about
he's done. Oh, we can acknowledge the fact that Late Night with the Devil is a film that was made.
Just don't pay to watch it.
It sounds bad because it's an indie movie, and I want to support indie movies always. But I also the amount of AI that should be in a film is zero. Well, no, the amount of generative AI in a film should be zero. Like, let's not do that. Anyways, but he worked on that movie, so
yeah,
and not on the AI, so we do support that.
Okay. Are you sure?
Well, I guess he was an executive producer, so maybe he did have something.
He signed off on it.
Who's to say? Damn, Joel. You really got us.
Damn. Like the one Alice died in.
Oh. Rip.
Any other fun facts? Not a whole lot about this movie.
Yeah, I got more.
Well, send some to me. I can talk about it.
The whole episode is me just DMing you fun facts. We just hear like ping, and then Katie's like, oh, I got another one.
There's not a lot. I watched some interviews. I got everything you got so far.
Yeah. There wasn't a whole lot. But a couple other things about just filming. Joel Anderson decided to go the route of fake documentary because it was going to be cheaper to shoot.
Yeah.
And it was going to be easier to acquire that amount of funding. So that's a fun fact. And then also the script just had an outline of the story and no real dialogue. So the actors had to improvise a lot of their scenes. And yeah, he also, I think Anderson himself served as the off screen interviewer for the film's interview scenes, but he's not credited. So, little fun facts.
I think that's why the acting was so compelling for me, is because they didn't have a script. It felt so organic. Like, it's really hard to get a script and not be reading it, you know? Especially for generally inexperienced actors and actresses that are being hired for found
Independent
footage.
films.
Yeah, and independent films, found footage. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And the old couple, I forget who they are in the movie, but there's an older couple.
Mm-hmm.
They were very clearly like, I even wondered, like, I wonder if they just gave them like the general idea of what they need to say and they said it.
Yeah.
Because that's what it felt like, which works for this movie.
Yeah, I think in the context of what was happening, it worked.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Do you have any other fun facts?
No, I got really sucked into the Reddit.
Yeah, you were in deep on the fan theories, huh?
Yeah, I really, really wanted Matthew to be the killer, but here
Okay.
you come, and then you squish all of my theories, and
You can still believe that.
I do.
Okay. See, I didn't ruin anything.
Well, all right. Well, let's rate it, I guess.
Okay.
How scary did you think it was?
I gave it a 1. I think by the time I watched this movie, I already kind of knew the whole found footage shtick, so it didn't. I was like, all right, we're gonna watch a lot of suspenseful scenes, and not a lot's gonna actually happen. So it didn't really scare me that much. What about you?
Yeah. I'll answer in a second. I don't mean to make this all about me, but
Oh.
I remember my first experience with a mockumentary.
Uh-huh.
I was at my grandma's house and I was just flipping through channels and Animal Planet was an option. And so I landed there
Great.
and I joined in the middle of a mockumentary. I didn't realize it was a mockumentary at the time
Mm-hmm.
about the recent discovery of dragons and how they're like, they have like this mechanism in the back of their throat that like starts fire. And there were like PhDs and scientists being interviewed, and
You thought that dragons were real.
I was so, yeah,
How old were you?
young. I was young. I
How
was
young?
like not a teenager.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah. Yeah, I was pretty young. But like 12. 12 is probably a
Oh,
safe.
like right on the cusp.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say like maybe 10 to 12, somewhere in there.
Okay.
Because I still remember, it's a very vivid dream. I went and I like grabbed my grandpa by the hand and brought him in and sat down in the sunroom with him. And I was like, you're not going to believe this. They found dragons. Like, I was
Damn.
so sucked in.
How did he break the news to you?
Actually,
was he like, you're a fucking moron?
No, he was, and I think about this all the time. He was very, like, almost elegant about it. He was like, well,
Oh.
what makes you think that it's real? And I was like, oh, well, like, like, this guy has a PhD. Like, he obviously knows what he's talking about. And he's like, well, how do we know that he's a PhD? Like, have you, like, do you know that he's a PhD? And I was like, well, it says. And he's like, well, TV says a lot of things a lot of times. And so he never not one time made me feel stupid, made me feel, but he really made me understand,
made you
like,
question things.
Yes.
Especially on the TV.
Yep.
Yeah.
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 It's a fond memory.
Very fun. I love that because it's a cute little learning experience that he was so kind about it.
Yeah.
And also, I think that that's a good learning experience for everybody because to this day, I get grown adults who are like, no, this movie's real. It's based on a real story. And I'm like, no, so movies lie to you the entire time.
Yeah. That's
when
the
they
point of a
say
movie.
that, they're still lying to you.
Yes.
99% of the time.
Yeah. I definitely don't claim to have superior media literacy, but I do credit what media literacy I do have to that experience with the
That movie.
dragons. Yeah.
I love that, yeah.
And a couple years later, they did a mermaid one,
Aw, cute.
which I was able to go into with the right state of mind. But
Love that for you.
anyway, I gave it a 1.5.
Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't that scary. There was a little bit
Yeah.
of a tone about it. I think had they nailed the tone a little bit, like more to my expectations, or like had they leaned into like the scary moment at the end, then maybe it would have taken away from the rest of the movie. I don't know. But I had to give it a little bit of credit, so I gave it a 1.5.
Fair enough. How sexy did you think it was?
A 1. Yeah. Despite the threesome, it's not sexy, and it wasn't trying to be sexy.
Yeah.
Reality is just not sexy.
Yeah.
So, what'd you give it?
I gave it a 1 as well. Nothing really sexy. Maybe the accents, but not enough.
Yeah.
I think we're like a family grief film is not really getting me going. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Paranormal might be able to do it,
Okay.
but no, not
No.
in this film.
Not here.
No, not here, not now.
Not ever.
No. Well, how fucked up did you think it was?
I gave it a 1.
Okay.
I think it was like a little bit more haunting than fucked up. You know?
Yeah.
Nothing stuck out. What about you?
So I gave it credit for something it didn't do, which maybe I shouldn't have done. But I just imagine, like, had I stumbled upon this movie like in the middle of the night, like come to my hotel room, like I'm on a trip and I come home to my hotel room and I'm just flipping through channels, and then I come upon this documentary and it shows me the dead body that they got out of the lake.
Yeah.
That would have been really fucked up. That would have really damaged me. So I gave it a 1.5.
I like that, actually. You're giving the mockumentary, the film within a film, credit for something.
Yes.
I think that's pretty cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, I like that a lot. All right. Overall, I know you like the word Mungo, but what did you feel about the actual movie?
Yeah,
Like
Mungo is a
Mungo.
5 out of 5.
Mungo, the
The
word?
word.
5 out of 5.
Yeah. But I'm going to be really honest with you. This
Yeah,
movie,
you don't like it.
Yeah. It
I know,
went
I can tell.
in one ear and out the other. We watched this movie like a week and a half ago.
Mm.
And I was going to rewatch it, but it was just like, why? I think it's a really great concept. This is the first like mockumentary that, I mean, obviously it's sort of found footage, but it's more the documentary aspect that's like interesting and new for us. And I love that concept.
Mhm.
Obviously it was trying to recreate kind of the feeling that people got from watching Blair Witch. I just don't think that it really worked despite the really great acting. I think the acting is definitely what kind of like saved it.
Okay.
I mentioned the kind of like back and forth, which I guess didn't bother you as much, but the back and forth between are the images real? Are they edited? Are they real? Like that kind of, that was supposed to be kind of like the big tee up and the twist, but it just didn't land for me. And then I thought the threesome thing was a little like disjointed and like almost unnecessary. Like we already knew and felt that the parents didn't know their kid. And I just didn't know that the threesome was necessary. I just think that there was like a very specific set of circumstances that I would have had to have watched this film to enjoy it fully. And I don't think that's anybody's fault or anything. Like I'm not like blaming you or anything. I just didn't get to experience that way. So anyway, for all of that, I gave it a 2.5.
Ouch.
Yeah.
That's
and
rough.
I know that's probably controversial. Given all the reviews I was reading about it, people are
A
going to
little
hate
bit,
me.
yeah.
But it's my truth. The acting was good, but that's
my truth.
I don't know. It didn't stick with me, you know? Like the one scene that was supposed to stick with me was like, okay. You know, it wasn't necessary. I don't know.
Yeah.
2.5, which isn't terrible. It's at 50%. It's not bad. It's not good.
Oh God.
Well,
Okay.
that's not good.
It's not good.
Yeah. All right. What did you give it?
This is rough.
Yikes.
I give it a 4 out of 5.
Woof.
I love this movie.
Okay.
I think critically, it is probably a 3 to a 3.5.
Okay.
But I give it a 4. I love this movie. I think it's such an underrated gem. Like, not enough people have seen it or talk about it. It's such an incredible, like, slow burn ghost story. And it explores grief. I fucking love a horror movie that explores grief. I love it so much. And it does, like, remind me a lot of Mike Flanagan's work. And I
Yeah.
think that's why, I don't know, I like his work. I like this. I get it. And I like it.
Well, good. I mean, to be fair, anybody that asked me, during COVID, I was a real fucking slut for documentaries. I watched so many. I could name off 30 documentaries for you to watch right now. I'm going to add this to my list of documentaries I recommend to people because I want them to go into it thinking it's a documentary. I think they'll enjoy it a lot more, as opposed to thinking it's a horror movie.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
So, like, to be clear,
Yeah.
I'll still recommend it.
You just hated it.
I just hated it. I just think you have to go into it under a special set of circumstances.
Yeah. Which you're believing that it's an actual documentary?
It couldn't hurt.
If someone said, hey, watch this documentary, and I watched like Mungo, I would never take a recommendation from them again and also probably call them stupid.
You don't think just like casually
I
with
would
your
be like,
friends
hey,
oh, yeah,
babe,
watch this
not that
documentary.
smart. This is not a documentary.
I think we know some people that would, at least until the end, be like, what the fuck?
Fair. But I think at the end they'd be like, Katie, you know that's not a documentary, right?
Well, yeah. I think they know that I know it's not a documentary and that I was recommending it to be cheeky.
Okay. Do it. Let me know how it works.
All right, I'll do it right now.
Okay, great.
Okay, I'm doing it. I'll do it right now.
Okay.
Well, I'll do it later. But I will do it.
I'll do it later.
That's our biggest disparity, I think. Except the menu.
I can't remember what you rated the menu.
Probably 2.5 or 2.
Yeah, somewhere around there. And I
Or
also
1.
think I gave it a 4, so.
It's growing on me. I haven't even watched it again, and I see stuff about it on TikTok, and I'm like, oh yeah, maybe that was kind of funny.
Yeah, the menu is really funny. I don't know how you missed that.
Media literacy.
Awkward. Yeah, well.
I didn't have
we're
my
getting
grandpa
there.
to walk me through it.
One day. One day you're going to watch movies and understand them fully and completely.
Yeah.
It's going to be a great day.
Yeah.
Not me, though. I'm going to be stupid for life. All right, would you survive?
Yeah. I'm not haunted.
Great.
Not paranormally. At least.
Put that on a Hot Topic t-shirt.
Yeah. Well, it's a Taylor Swift reference, but.
Oh. Never mind then.
It would
not
work
go
on a
well
Hot
on
Topic
him.
t-shirt.
Yeah, until all the little emo kids start being targeted by Swifties and they have to go get refunds.
For the emo kids.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, I'm living. Everybody's living. Nobody dies except Alice, but she drowns, and I can swim. I taught how to swim. I taught Olympic level swimming, but you didn't know that about me.
Well, yeah, I think it was more like she was destined, you know?
I'm not. I have yet to see a video of myself, or I've yet to record a video of my dead self. So I think
Great.
I'm good.
Yeah.
How about you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I also have not seen a ghostly apparition of my dead self. So I think I'm okay for now. Knock on wood. I won't even, because I don't believe in it, so.
Well.
News tomorrow. Indie podcaster found dead.
Yeah.
Rip. Okay, cool. Do you want to predict next week's movie?
Yeah, I didn't even look it up.
Oh, okay.
which shouldn't be too big of a surprise
Good,
to you.
because I think I changed it again on you.
Oh my god, wait, isn't it Bodies?
Yes, okay, I didn't change it again. It's Bodies.
Bodies X3.
Bodies X3. I just did 2.
What?
I said Bodies X3, but then I put 2 fingers up.
Oh.
So, a good old Shrek moment there.
Yeah, media illiterate and math illiterate.
Can't count.
Okay, so this is the movie that I thought was Jennifer's Body. You can see how I could be confused.
Okay.
Because of the word body.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is about a town of people that start finding bodies.
3 of them, or?
No, a lot of bodies.
Oh, way more than...
Yeah, more than 3.
Got it.
Yeah. got it. Bodies. Yeah, so yeah, it's just, about all the bodies that they find, and they're stashed away in places.
Oh, hidden bodies.
Yeah, but there's no way for those bodies to have gotten where they were.
Oh my god.
Like in concrete. And a businessman like opens his office door and finds a body, and there's no like camera evidence that anybody was in there, and so it's just like it's dead bodies appearing places where they couldn't possibly,
just popping up.
Yep.
Unexplained.
Well, I mean, it gets explained at the end.
How? Tell me.
Well, it can't be aliens because we just did that, and it can't be paranormal because we just did that right now. So
I have absolutely put more than one paranormal next to each other before.
So is it paranormal?
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, like, there's so many paranormal horror movies that I have definitely done that in the past.
Yeah. No, I think it's more like glitch in the Matrix kind of thing. Like timelines.
Okay.
Like not time travel, but different timelines.
Right.
And it's the people dying in one timeline, but their bodies appear in another timeline when they die.
Okay, that's fun.
Yeah. It's like, have you ever like gone through an intersection and you like do like a little shiver because you think about like, oh, I could have gotten hit by a car. Like, you know what I mean? Like if you ever get those like little shiver, like, okay, forget the intersection completely. Do you ever get those little shivers? Yes,
I've had a shiver before.
Yeah. But like, you know what I'm saying? It's not like a shiver. But okay, anyway. I always imagine that that's me dying in another timeline.
That sounds healthy.
Yeah. No. But yeah, so like so like sometimes you're like going through an intersection like, oh my God, I just got T-boned in another life or in another timeline. That's the vibe I'm getting from bodies.
Okay,
There's just different timelines, and you die in one and your body appears in another, but in the other timeline.
Yeah. So no harm done, really.
Well,
just traumatizing some people, but so are the people finding their own body?
Oh yeah, they are now. Yeah, that'd be great. Oh, I hope they're finding their own body. That's fun.
Yeah, that'd be because if I'm going to my office building and I died in another timeline in my office, then I'm the one finding it.
No, I mean these bodies are in places that they are not supposed to be, like stuck like halfway through concrete, kind of like stuck. Like, how did it get there? It's because it's from another time. It's because in one timeline, yeah, there may be a building there, but in another timeline, that could be the middle of the forest. You know what I mean?
Great. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So maybe what's the catalyst of the story is that somebody finds their own body.
And that's how they start to solve it.
And then they're like, oh my God. So these bodies that are like unexplained murders and like, they're because us. It's other timeline, us.
And then a scientist is like, yeah.
Yep. And then a scientist solves it.
Out. Who plays the scientist?
Megan Fox.
Of course. Why wouldn't she?
Mm-hmm.
Great. Sounds like a fun movie. I
Yeah,
can't
that
wait to
one
watch
sounds like
Bodies, Bodies.
Ugh, damn. I mean, I knew, but that does sound kind of
Yeah.
fun.
It does sound fun. I like that.
It kind of sounds Jordan Peele.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get him on the phone. Honestly, we could use our big break.
Yeah. I'll look him up.
Thanks.
Of course. No.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry.
Don't tell me anything.
I won't. I won't tell you a thing. I will
Is
tell
it-
you Megan Fox is not in it.
I think I knew that.
Great. All right. Bodies, Bodies, Bodies. Can't wait.
A couple years from now, when the other movie that I just described comes out,
Yeah. You
you'll
guys will
have
know.
me to thank.
Yep.
Anyway. All right. Well, thanks for listening.
Yeah. Thanks for listening. I'm sorry you didn't like the movie. I'm sad that you didn't like it.
Yeah, me too.
All I can do is show you movies and see how you feel about them. I can't force anybody to have good taste. So just kind of got to deal with it. You know what I mean? You got to just accept the things that you cannot change, which is your friends having bad taste in movies.
I don't have bad taste in movies.
Oh, you poor thing.
I had
Can't
bad taste
imagine
in
what
this
it's like
movie.
being you.
Oh my god. You're insufferable.
Yeah, I've been told.
Yeah, recently. Like literally the
lot.
other day.
All the time.
All right. Well, we'll see you next week when we talk about Bodies X3.
Yes, thank you for listening. Feel free to like and subscribe if you are a nice person. And
It doesn't cost anything,
it doesn't cost a thing.
but it helps.
We don't even play ads.
We promise we won't if you like and subscribe.
Yeah, if you like and subscribe, never play it. Well, will we play ads one day? Probably not.
We'll do collabs, but no ads.
There we go. I like that. Yeah.
Ad
No
revenue
ads.
isn't how people make their money on podcasts.
That's true.
It absolutely is.
It does. It does a
Absolutely
lot. It does a lot. But that's okay. Like and subscribe. Let us know in the comments which ads you'd like to hear in the future. I'm kidding. And we'll see you next week for Bodies, Bodies, Bodies.
Yay. Bye.